Welcome to this focused attention practice. This practice of focused attention can help us to build concentration. We're always paying attention to something around us, although we're not always aware of where our attention is. But in this practice, the invitation is to be aware and to choose where we want to rest our attention. Before we start, it's important to understand what an anchor is in focused attention. We all know what the use of an anchor is to a boat. It keeps a boat in place. It keeps it from drifting off to sea. In the same way, in meditation, an anchor is used to keep your thoughts in place when your mind drifts off. When we get swept away into the past or the future, an anchor keeps us tied to the present moment. People often use breath as an anchor because it's always with us and it can easily be felt in the body. But breath is only one option where we can place attention when the mind wanders. We'll begin with the breath, but we'll explore and practice with other anchors as well. So let's begin. I invite you to come to a comfortable posture, sitting or lying down. Relaxing into this space and maybe closing down the eyes if that feels right for you. Or you may choose to keep them open with a soft gaze. Let's begin to bring our awareness to our breath and concentrate on breath as an anchor. Feeling the breath entering our nose. Sometimes we can be aware of the temperature of the air when it enters our nostrils. Is it cool or warm? Are you inhaling fast or slow, deep or shallow? Are you aware of any block or constriction in your sinuses? Now breathing in further down the chest. Can you feel the movement of air forcing the chest to rise and fall? Does your breath reach all the way down to your belly? Can you feel the sensation of expansion and constriction in the abdomen region? Looking at breath and noticing how this life force is here in the present moment. We're concentrating on breath. And in this practice, when our mind wanders, like it will a million times, just bringing it back to the breath and focusing on some quality of the breath. Whether it's the cool, tingling sensation at the entrance of the nostril, or some sensation in the throat, the chest, or the abdomen, or perhaps the warmth of the exhale. Just being aware of how the breath feels in the body and taking one sensation of breath and resting attention here when your mind drifts away. Not trying to control the breath, it's automatic. Just letting it come naturally and effortlessly, and noticing any thoughts or feelings associated here with the breath. And just trying it on for size as a home base for present moment experience. When you breathe in, you're here, and when you breathe out, you're here. Maybe noticing that no two breaths are the same, just as no two moments of our life are the same. And we only know that as we are present, as we are here now, following the flow of breath in the chest, and if it's not comfortable resting with breath, there are other options we'll explore. Noticing where your attention is and inviting it back home to the breath. Now shifting attention away from breath to another anchor of choice, the feet. The feeling of the feet as they make contact with the hard surface below them. Or maybe it's just the ankles that are touching the surface. You may have shoes or socks on, or you may have bare feet touching the ground. What can your feet sense now? Are they cool or warm? Do they feel roughness or softness in your socks or on the carpet or the hard floor beneath them? Is there any sensation in the feet? Any pain or feeling of comfort? Perhaps there is little sensation at all. Just being aware of the feet as an anchor and focusing attention on the feeling of grounding, of the support of your 2 feet solid on the surface, here in this present moment. And choosing an anchor, the invitation is to find a place to rest attention that's familiar, neutral, and comfortable. Knowing that your mind will inevitably wander while doing this practice. So having it be a safe and familiar place to return to, like a home. And taking some time to observe any thoughts or feelings associated with the feet or the toes or the ankles or any part of the feet that may have sensations. Or just neutrally choosing the feet as an anchor when the mind hops on the thought train. Especially if you've reached your edge and want to return home to the body. To shift awareness from autopilot, from thinking mode, to feeling, sensing into the feet and the touch points underneath your feet. Again, noticing where your attention is and inviting it back to the anchor, which is your feet. Now shifting awareness from your feet to the contact points under your hands. Maybe they're resting on your knees, or on a chair, or bed, thighs, or the mat. What are you noticing here? Are your hands sensing fabric, skin, something soft? Or is it a hard surface under your hands? Are your hands curled up? Or are they lying flat? Are there any other sensations on or under your hands right now? Any tingling, warm, or cold sensation? Or is there no obvious feeling that you detect except the touch of the surface below you? Are there thoughts or emotions associated with the hands? The hands do so much for us on a day-to-day basis. Maybe there's a feeling of gratitude or amazement. Maybe you're resting attention on the thumbs or fingernails. If thoughts draw you into the past or the future, or to some story you're getting entangled in, just practicing shifting awareness and attention from wherever you've gone back to your anchor, to the touch point under your hands. So we visited with the movement of breath in different locations as a touch point on the feet and the hands. But there are more anchors to choose from, like sounds, smell, and just the weight of the body on the chair or the mat or cushion. It's the sense of contact, the pressure, the grounding. And try that out. Attention wanders. Just invite it back. And one last anchor we'll be practicing today is with sound. What are you aware of in your space? What can you hear? Receiving sounds as they arise and pass away. Are sounds internal, such as the sound of your breath, or maybe your heartbeat? Or are they external, like wind, or traffic, or music? Or perhaps there are no detectable sounds apart from my voice, which comes and goes. Just taking a moment to be aware of sounds in your environment and practice using sound as an anchor. Coming back to sounds when your mind wanders away. Remember, the brain is always working, and that's okay. That's what the brain does. It loves to distract. It loves to pull you away from what you're doing. But that's fine, because you can always recognize that your mind has wandered off, and you can bring your attention back to the sounds around you. If you're using sounds as an anchor, you may notice the quality of sounds. Are they intense or subtle? Are they sounds you want to label as pleasant or unpleasant? Sounds you wish would linger, or sounds you'd like to avoid? Noticing judgments as they arise. That's all part of the practice. And you can come back to what's arising and what's passing away. The sound of my voice, the sound of silence. Just focusing the attention on sound. Like feelings and sensations, sounds are impermanent and ever-changing. And like most things in life, just noticing it all with an attitude of curiosity. So at this point, we've practiced with a few different anchor choices. And now choose the one that works for you. Whether it's the breath sensation, the touch points on the feet or the hands, or the sounds in the room. There isn't one better than the other. So choosing the one that feels accessible and neutral. Now sitting still and returning to your anchor kindly, gently, when your mind gets pulled away. So as we begin to draw this practice to a close, perhaps widening the attention to the awareness of the whole body again, breathing in and out and feeling the breath move throughout the body. There's no greater gift than a trained mind. When we practice focusing our attention and being present with what's here, We won't miss out on the little and big moments that might otherwise pass us by. And in fact, when we fully engage with those around us, every moment can feel like a big moment. So taking one final deep breath in, and on an exhale, opening the eyes if you've closed them, and orientating yourself back to your space. Maybe looking around with fresh eyes. Thank you for practicing this focused attention meditation. Namaste.